Hi, everybody. I really can't wait to talk to you about this topic because I feel like this is something that is stopping a lot of people out there. And that is not knowing if starting your business is okay at work, right? Or if it's even legal. Are you violating NDAs? Are you violating your own contract? You don't know. And that paralyzes you because you're like, well, I probably can't. Right? You keep telling yourself that. You keep telling yourself, I probably can't do that because of this, because in your head it makes sense that you wouldn't be able to do this because there might be a conflict. In your head it makes total sense. But you don't actually know the facts, do you? So if you have already researched whether you can or can't have a side business at your job, good for you. You got a lot more information than 90% of the other people who are listening this podcast right now. So all those 90%, this podcast is for you. Okay? So here's the situation. You want to be a coach or you want to go into consulting, and the topic or the subject matter is similar to that stuff that you already do at work. So if you were to go ahead and change your title on your LinkedIn profile, you would go in a panic because if your boss sees that you're freelancing, the stuff that they're paying you to do, that would be a big no-no, right? Or another case is if your boss doesn't really like it when their employees are moonlighting, are doing something else because it takes the focus away from the company, right? So you don't want to say, hey, I'm advertising myself as a coach now and not as a professional project manager, right? How will your boss feel about that? How will your coworkers see that? Sometimes we have a project that is so near and dear to our hearts and so aligned with our dreams that we're actually afraid of people's judgment. I once made a website for someone who started an online magazine, and he could not tell anybody that was happening. Nobody at work could find out. So he didn't even associate his name with it. It was just the brand name, and he would not advertise it anywhere. So you may have different reasons not to start that are related, some flavor of this. And I'm going to tell you the example of one person that I've mentioned many times before because she's one of my star clients and I love her so much. Her name is Patty Schmuck. Hi, Patty. If you're listening to this, I'm saying your name. Patty is a suicide loss empowerment coach. So if you've lost a child to suicide, she knows the pain that goes with it, and she knows what you can do so that you can keep that memory alive, but also not forget yourself in the process, to be able to honor your loved one at the same time that you are going on and living a full life yourself. You can do both at the same time. If it seems impossible, Patty shows you how. That's what she does. That's who she is as a coach. And when we started working together, one of the biggest questions she had was, listen, I don't have a mental health certification. And I'm sure there's got to be some law in the state that she lives in that says that you cannot serve as a mental health provider. Like I can't be like a grief counselor, right, without a certification. So our first meeting was, well, we can't work on assumptions. We have to find that out for sure. She went on to find out. She even contacted, I think I did this for her. We found a local library, and I sent a message to a librarian. I'm like, tell me what the requirements are to be a grief counselor in this state. And she came back with, there doesn't seem to be any. There doesn't seem to be any restriction to be a grief counselor, like specifically, right? There's mental health providers who have different guidelines, but to help people with grief, that's not an official thing. So it didn't matter how much Patty looked for this and looked for that reason for her not to provide this kind of service. She could not find it. She's like, okay, then I guess it's fine. So this thing that had been weighing on her shoulders, that had been weighing on her mind about not being able to actually exercise this profession, it just went away just by doing that research. So guess what the first thing I'm going to have you do is find out for sure. So I have 3 things that I want you to keep in mind. Okay, if you are in this situation where you don't know if it's legal or okay for you to do this side job, right? So point number 1, I'm gonna dive right in. Point number 1, know the rules at your workplace. Know your contract. know your NDAs, know what conflicts there could be, but don't assume. Know for a fact whether you are in legal compliance by doing this on the side. So a really easy way to do this is to read your contract. Do you have a contract? Do you not? I remember when I was in corporate, I signed something when I first joined the company, but that was 8 years before or 15 years before. I didn't have that stored anywhere. So what do you do to find out for sure? You ask HR for a copy of it. Now that may raise some eyebrows, be like, what is going on over there, right? But you can see a copy of your contract if you want. So get a copy of your contract and read it. If you need help interpreting it and actually answering the question, can I do this side job while I'm employed here doing this? Get a lawyer to look at it. You guys, we think of lawyers because we've seen them in movies, right? We think of lawyers as being so expensive, right? That is like, it would be unfathomable to spend $800 getting somebody to review this thing. It's not going to be that expensive. Again, that's another thing that may be stopping you. I don't want to pay $800 for a lawyer. Do you know that it's going to be $800? I have a lawyer who charges me by the hour. I send her a document and she comes back with a bill. I think the last bill she sent me was something like $175 or something. So getting somebody to review a contract and to help you interpret it, it may not cost as much as you're telling yourself it's going to cost. So forget about your assumptions. It's time to really put things down, things that you know for sure. Okay? So read your contract or get a lawyer to read it for you, explain to them what you want to do, and then they can explain back to you what is possible. That's what you do to know for sure. Number 2, have a meeting with your boss or with HR or with your coworkers, like whoever you're afraid will find out on LinkedIn. When you switch your title to be something else, who are you afraid will find out, right? I'm going to tell you what I did, but I did this while I was working full time, knowing that it was okay for me to do that. Instead of changing my title and everything, I just added another position that I started. I am the founder and president of In a Nutshell LLC, right? I just added that to my LinkedIn, and my bosses knew that I had a side hustle, and I did not ask them for permission. I just knew that it was okay, and I went ahead and do it. So and what I want to tell you that I did was when I left my job, I was actually scared not scared, but like embarrassed or self-conscious or something. I was nervous about my previous bosses seeing what I was doing now, because it was such a departure from software project management, right? Such an esteemed position. I was on my way to being a director in that company. And all of a sudden I'm talking about, hey, I'm a business coach. Come and look at me. I felt silly. I felt childish. I felt like they would judge me. Like I had all of these feelings, like drowning in these feelings, like what is going to happen? So you know what I did? Because I didn't want that to stop me. I couldn't make myself not feel the way I felt, right? So what I did to not let that stop me was I disconnected my boss and anybody else in that company that I didn't want them to see what I was doing on LinkedIn. I disconnected them on LinkedIn. I knew that I didn't want to get a job in that company again. I was never going to go back there. If I were to get another job, I was not going to go back there. So I didn't really need them to be on LinkedIn. If I ever needed a recommendation or anything else, I have their email addresses. I can always contact them there, but they don't get a notification if I unfriend them, quote unquote, unfriend them on LinkedIn. So I just disconnected so that way they don't see my updates. That's what I did to deal with those feelings that I was having. But for you, what I really want you to know is how would people feel about you having a side hustle? So this is kind of like a recon operation. This is kind of like just finding out information. I don't want you to go to your boss and ask for permission to start a side business. It is not their, this is not their thing, right? You should be able to start any business you want, doing whatever you want, as long as you took care of number one, as long as you know that it's okay with your contract and DAs and everything else you're doing. The second part is just becoming aware of how they feel about it, right? So the conversation, it doesn't have to be, and it shouldn't be, hey, I'm thinking of starting a side business. Do you think I should do it? No. They don't get a say. They're not the chairman of the board. They're not your boss in your business. You are, right? So you can just inform them. You can just ask them like, hey, have you ever heard of anybody starting a side business kind of doing this, like freelancing doing this thing? Have you ever done it? Stuff like that. Just like ask them so you can kind of like probe about it and say, yeah, I'm thinking about starting it, right? You don't have to tell them how far you are, how much you've done, because it's going to sound like you're pitching it to them, like you're requesting permission and validation from them. You don't need that. And it should never feel that way. And it shouldn't feel that way to them. Like, is she asking me if I think it's okay? Because if she's asking me, I'd rather she didn't do anything else other than my job. So that's what I'm going to say. So don't put them in that position. It's like, it's a lunch meeting. It's like, hey, I was just thinking about starting something like that. You may have already started it. Like, I was just thinking about starting something like that and see how they react, right? And that way it feels like you kind of given them a little bit of heads up so that if you don't want to disconnect with them on LinkedIn, you can just add it on and then they can see, oh, wow, she did what she was telling me she was going to do. Good for her, right? It's usually a good thing. When you're showing initiative and when you want to start something on the side, it's usually viewed as somebody who has power, right? You're not just like a little working bee. You are your own person. You have founder and president in your title, right? I remember when I used to go to job interviews, they couldn't get enough of that. I had, president and CEO of In a Nutshell LLC, and they're like, what is that? I make websites for small businesses. I made a website for a state congressman. I make a website for like churches and for restaurants and like things like that. And they'll be like, wow, like, how do you do that with your free time? And here's the secret, guys. Everybody wants to do it, but not everybody actually gets the courage, the oomph to actually go through with it. So when they're asking you, wow, how do you make time for all of it? They're really talking about themselves. Like, oh, I wish I had that courage. I wish I had that oomph, right? So people couldn't get enough of me in job interviews. I could get any job I wanted because I was showing up as, you know what? You guys have to prove to me that it's worth for me to work here. Like I am interviewing you as much as you're interviewing me kind of thing. And that kind of confidence, you can't buy that kind of confidence. So anyway, I digress. Coming back to point number 2, which is just having a meeting. It doesn't have to be a formal meeting. It can just be like in passing. This is after you're taking care of the legal part. It's like, how do people feel about this in this culture, right? Is it something that I should be hiding from them? I don't want to. Because I don't want you to hide it. Because businesses are hard enough to start publicly. Imagine if you have to hide it. How are you going to reach your audience? Doing things in secret make things 1,000,000 times harder. So you should be able to talk about what you want and feel comfortable that people at work will have to deal with it. Because you know that number 1 point is taken care of. It's okay. All right? So definitely do that. So point number 1, make sure you know the legal rules. Right? Get a lawyer if you need to. Point number 2, talk to your boss or HR or whoever's opinion you're afraid of and see what they say so that they kind of get a heads up that this is something you're thinking about doing, something probably they're going to hear you talking about, right? But don't make it sound like you're asking for permission. Nope. Don't put them in that position. Number 3 that I wanted to tell you is bottom line, don't break the law. Don't break your contract. Don't break your NDA. Don't be the kind of person that people are afraid that you're not in integrity. Okay? So suppose that when you do this research and when you talk to your boss, it comes out that your boss is adamantly opposed to any employee having a side hustle. And in your contract, it says that you should not have any other side jobs other than this, right? I remember having that in my contract, right? But I did my thing anyway. But that was just me. I'm not giving you that advice. Know the rules, but if it turns out in the end that you actually can't start your business without breaking some kind of rule or something that you have signed, I want you to take advantage of this very nifty tool that not enough people take advantage of. And that is to go out on job interviews and go and work at a company that is okay when people have a life outside of work. So I tell you, this is a really underutilized tool because people think that job interviews are only for when you want to jump ship or only for when you want to find another job. When in reality, going out there, putting yourself out there as someone who, is considering their options, that gives you a lot of leverage. Because that means that your job is not the only thing you're doing in your life. That means that you have your eye on other things and you have the potential to do something else. And you could meet awesome people during a job interview. You could find out about other places and how much they're paying and what positions there are. I'm telling you, going on job interviews, even if you think to yourself, I'm not going to jump ship, I'm not getting another job, you should definitely be going on other job interviews just to see what's out there. Because it's eye-opening, right? So if right now you've gone through 1 and 2 and you can't do this working there, go on job interviews. What's the worst thing that could happen? That you don't get the job? Well, initially you weren't planning on quitting anyway, right? The only thing that could happen is that you have new opportunities and you have a new perspective on your job. So once another job comes up where it's the same kind of job that you're doing, or it could be better pay, it could be the same pay, whatever the case, if it allows you to do your side business and it's a culture that allows people, that nurtures people who want to be leaders, right? Then what's the harm? It might even be a better commute, right? On that note, if you're going to do this exercise, only go for interviews at companies that you're willing to travel to, right? I don't want you to add any more time, any more commute time to your days. I want you to spend that on your side business, okay? So that's what I want you to do. If you're still feeling like after you do this, you can't really start because you're like a little bit scared, ask yourself why. Where is that coming from, right? Because you can't argue with facts, okay? Fact number 1, it's totally legal for you to do it under your contract. That would be an awesome thing to find out, all right? Or like our friend Patty, right? It was perfectly legal for her to do this without having any kind of mental health certification. She can do what she wants, right? Great. Strike that off. It's okay with your bosses. You know what? It may not be okay with them, but it's legal. And as long as you're performing at your job and taking care of your thing, it should be fine. Strike 2. And then the final one is, if you really can't do this, go and find a place where you can. All right? Patty says yes, right? Patty's watching right now. She's hearing all this out. So I'm going to tell you something that I'm probably going to say all the time. I'm going to attribute it to, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I have a very good friend that I have featured in my Facebook group many times. Her name is Riva Robinson. She's a health coach. She's a bodybuilder and a doctor and just like an overall awesome woman. And she taught me really to understand something that I have actually been saying for a long time. But now I get it so much, especially because I'm here like trying to improve my fitness. In her words, action comes first. You're not going to sit there, listen to this podcast, watch this video, and decide that, oh, maybe it is okay for me to start my business if you actually have these concerns. No, action comes first and the confidence of it comes later. So you have to actually do these things for this to work. So if these are concerns you have, do what I'm telling you to do. And after you have done it, after you perform the action after action on taking care of each one of these, then see where you are. And then send me a message, a personal message on Facebook. I'm the only Ina Coveney there, but you have to spell Coveney right. It ends in EY. You can DM me on Instagram at Ina Coveney, right? Send me a message and say, hey, I did all those things. And it turns out that, yes, I can do it, but. Or it turns out that I can't do it, but. What is the but after this? I'm giving you every way out. So I want to hear what the objection is after you actually do these things. If you still have objections, but you haven't done these things, you know what to do. Get to action. 1, 2, 3. I'm giving you exactly the steps what to do to get out of that situation. Because what I don't want to happen is a year from now, you're still swimming in this lake. Still swimming in this lake of like, well, it might not be legal because it makes sense that it wouldn't be, right? Nope. That's not who you are. That's not what we're doing here. We're not guessing. We're not making assumptions. You're going to go and find out for sure and get that off your list of reasons why you're not starting your business yet. Because this reason, it could be masking another one. And that's what I want to do. I want to peel the onion and see what's underneath. After you take care of this one, what else? What is the other reason you're not doing this? And then we'll do another episode to tackle that one and keep peeling it until we get to the core of it. Okay? So that's basically what I had for you guys today. I just wanted to tell you there's something super exciting happening in February of 2020. And I am so excited to share that with you guys because it's been a lot of work, but it's been a lot of really fun work working with Staples, with my partner Staples. And that's coming out in February. And I can't wait to tell you more about it. Most likely, those people in my Facebook group and in my mailing list are going to hear about it first. So if you're as excited as I am to hear like what I have cooking up with Staples here and you want to see how I did this and what this is all about and whether you can do it too, like all of that stuff. I mean, partnering with a big company is like a big deal. And I can't wait to tell you all about it and all the opportunities that opened up to conspire to make this happen. I can't wait to tell you more about it. But that's coming in February. If you would like to join the mailing list so that you don't miss that announcement, just go to inacoveney.com/join. And that's also going to give you as a bonus my salary replacement 1-year roadmap. Okay, that's the first email you get. And then you're in and you're in the VIP group. You're in the VIP elite group that is getting all my notifications all at once. And if you want to join the Facebook group, which is where I live, is where I do these lives and everything, go to inacoveney.com/Facebook. It takes you straight there. Okay, that's all I had for you guys. I hope that it was helpful. If you like this, remember to take a screenshot of this podcast, post it on Instagram, tag me on it so that I can say a proper thank you and I can show everybody that people are listening. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. Yay, thank you for watching. If you like that video, remember to subscribe right here to get notified of new episodes. And don't miss the podcast version, Trailblazing Out of Corporate Life. Go look it up and subscribe. I'll see you later. Bye.